Ever get any money from Costello?
No.
And did you ever get any money from Meyer Lansky?
I never got money from any of those fellas.
None of those fellas?
None of these that I've been reading about, or none that I knew. They never gave me anything.
None of the Fichettes?
No. I don't even speak to the... I mean, I met that Charlie once or twice. I don't even talk to him.
You don't like him?
I was conscious of the fact that he had a reputation for being an outstanding bookmaker.
You ever hear him referred to as the Prime Minister of the Underworld?
That term I did not.
Also known as Duck Perella. I refuse to answer on the grounds of make attempt to criminal. Got any business? I refuse to answer on the grounds of attempt to criminal. You have any profession? I refuse to answer on the grounds of make attempt to have any occupation? I refuse to answer on the grounds of make attempt to criminal. Are you a known racketeer?
Welcome to the Grand Jury. I'm Joe Lanou, your host, as we review police use of force incidents through the lens of a grand jury. A grand jury, a jury of your peers that makes decisions on felony crimes as to bring formal charges or not. My role as the host is to present the evidence, footage, context, and details to our panel of 5 volunteers from the social media platform X. These jurors, ordinary citizens, will decide if the use of force was appropriate or warrants criminal charges using the probable cause and the reasonable person standard. Let's meet our tonight's volunteer jury. We've got our foreman, Carmen Love off of X. Welcome, Carmen. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Sorry about that. I am a North Carolina native. I am from AmericanXLive.com. I'm here to be the foreman tonight, and I'm grateful for that appointment. My role is to help guide our discussion, ensure everyone's voice is heard, and work with you all to reach fair and just conclusions based on the evidence presented. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. And we have Kamala Giggles. I call her KG because that's a tongue twister. Kamala Giggles off of X. Welcome, Kamala.
Welcome. Hello. Hi.
Kamala has, she goes to a lot of X spaces, always has a great point of view, or at least enough of a point of view to stir some things up. So we welcome her tonight. We have our very own, actually, I'm going to skip our very own night court stand-in tonight, Bruce Wayne, because we had one gentleman that couldn't make it last minute. And I'm going to go to Victoria. Victoria is on X as Interlocutor, and I've just learned to pronounce that, but Interlocutor. Welcome, Victoria.
Hi, nice to meet y'all. I'm from California. I'm an advocate for health. I'm a supporter of the Constitution, and I really appreciate the opportunity to review evidence and give an opinion to represent how our country functions. Thank you.
We're absolutely pleased to have you tonight. And we have our very own B. B's an Xer, met her in spaces. She always has a great point of view, and there she is, Smack Shot Jam on X. Folks, you should give all these jurors a follow. They put a little time into it. They've done some research, and everybody's coming at this the right way, and they're worth a follow. They're willing to come in and do this, and on a Friday night, they're worth following to see what else is going on in their lives. All right. With that, with every grand jury, there's witnesses, expert witnesses even. For our show tonight, we have an expert witness, and it's Jason with 3D Responses. He's a 30-year veteran of law enforcement, and he's also the inventor and creator of the 3D response system. It's a patented school safety system that if you hadn't looked into it, it's just that www.3D response systems. You should give it about a 20-minute look. It'll change the way you look at the school that your child goes to. But Jason, welcome tonight, and I appreciate you volunteering. You do this quite a bit for us, and we do appreciate it. But tell us a quick little something about yourself.
I think you kind of summed it up. Actually coming here because it's fun for me. It's kind of a break from reality a little bit, and it's also nice to actually try to put a little experience and education into why law enforcement does what it does at times. So I enjoy it.
We appreciate you, my friend. We also have Big Ron. He's with the Night Court show, is acting as producer tonight. He's going to keep us in our media and keep us on time. But we have some definitions. There's a few things we need to go over before we get to our first case. The first definition we need to talk about, but what is a grand jury? There you go. A grand jury is a group of citizens convened to review evidence and determine whether there's enough to charge someone with a crime, typically used in serious felony cases. It operates in secret. Hearing testimony, examining evidence presented by prosecutors. Unlike a trial jury, which decides guilt or innocence, a grand jury's role is just to decide if there's enough probable cause to issue an indictment, meaning formal charges. What about a reasonable person? Reasonable person is the lens that we're going to ask grand jurors to look at it in. Well, I'm going to ask you to leave all your biases aside and go with this definition, which is the legal standard of a reasonable person is a hypothetical benchmark used in law to evaluate an individual's actions or decisions against what an average rational person would do in similar circumstances. It's an objective standard, meaning it doesn't focus on the specific person's subjective thoughts or abilities, but on a generalized, prudent person with ordinary intelligence and judgment. That's the lens that you should look at every actor, or that's the standard that you're applying to every actor that we'll see tonight. But there's another definition that we need to understand, and that's probable cause. We've all heard in a jury trial determining someone's guilt that the standard of proof that the state would have to prove to 12 people on a jury is beyond a reasonable doubt. And that means, guys, I've got a heck of a storm going on here. But beyond a reasonable doubt means that you can lay your head on the pillow and sleep well at night, that you made the correct decision. There's no doubt in your mind that this person was guilty. And that's the level that you have to reach in a 12-man jury for a criminal trial. But it's different for a grand jury. The standard is much lower. It's probable cause. Probable cause in the context of a grand jury refers to the legal standard used to determine whether there's sufficient evidence to believe that a crime has been committed and that the person under investigation is likely responsible. It is the threshold that they must meet for the grand jury to issue an indictment. In this case, we'll explain that as this going to be a true bill, an indictment which formally charges someone with a crime and moves the case to trial. That's what you've got to reach to say this person did it. We've got some rules. Our rules tonight: the jurors may only consider evidence presented here. They must use the reasonable person standard. They must use the probable cause level of proof. More likely than not, a crime has occurred and the actor is responsible for said crime. We'll use Texas laws as the legal lens to view these incidents, regardless of where it may have occurred, just for a simple reason to keep it simple. Okay, folks, do we have any questions before we begin with our first case? Okay, with that, let's get started. Let's look at case number 1.
Fountain Valley Police Dispatch.
Hey, it's front desk. I'm patching a 95 subject, last seen Slater in Los Jardines West.
Okay. Hi, Fountain Valley Police Dispatch.
Hi, there was a man here at Slater and Los Jardines West. He's probably in the parking lot of 7-Eleven at this point. I've lost sight of him. But a woman was pulling her car just out of the school parking lot at Masuda, and he clearly, looks disturbed. He's wearing jeans, no shirt, shaved head, possibly Hispanic or white. But as he passed her, he was, talking to the car, something's wrong with him. But then after he passed her and she tried to pull out, he tried to grab and open her car door. And you could see she was visibly shaken and tried to drive away. But clearly there's something wrong with that man. And I thought I'd better let somebody know.
Okay, but she's since driven away?
She's since driven away. But you could see her, afraid in her car as he's trying to open her door. And
okay, and she was at Masuda or 7-Eleven when that happened?
Masuda. She was pulling out of the Masuda school parking lot. She made a right onto Los Jardines West, and then I walked back and followed, but now I've lost him. He's somewhere in, he has turned in somehow towards the parking lot here at 7-Eleven, and now I can't see him anymore.
Okay, yeah, we can have somebody check the area. Can I get your name and phone number? Okay, yeah, we'll definitely get somebody out there.
Okay, thanks for taking a peek at that. Hopefully they'll...
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah, not a problem. Thank you. All right, bye. Three 319 or D46 for a 925 subject.
332.
Units 925 subject in the area of Masuda, 174-150 Sardinus West. This is in reference to a male white or Hispanic, shaved head, no shirt, wearing jeans. Possible mental health issues. While he was in the area of Masuda, he tried to open a vehicle door occupied by one female. The female was able to leave without incident and is no longer in the area, and the male was last seen walking towards the 7-Eleven from Masuda. The RP is a witness to all of this only. She was not the one in the vehicle.
332 station.
19,000.
330.
332.
I'll be out with him across from Arco South.
Copy, out with him, Brookhurst South at Brookhurst and Slater.
We'll be at the Bank of America ATM. Drive there.
Over.
Running northbound, Brookhurst and Slater.
Copy, running northbound.
We're going towards Elkhorn Zone.
Copy, towards Elkhorn Zone.
Do we have a crime? Just 148 at the time. 317 code 3, City Yard.
Copy, code 3.
He's in the parking lot across from the PD.
Copy, parking lot across from the PD.
You got the code.
Station copy, 317, cut code 3.
317 cut. Hey, he tries to run again, just let him go.
Copy.
I have him in front of me in the car.
Oh my God! 319, your status.
She's in a fight. Code 3.
Copy, code 3, Brack, 317.
Code 3. She's gonna walk. 332, what's it, 720?
Last known location was at the ATMs at Bank of America. They're in a visual of them on the cameras.
Start 80, start 80! Gun facing westbound.
Copy, guns facing westbound.
Okay, where are you?
San Mateo, Corazon.
60 Sam 97.
10. You still got the gun with him? 60 Sam, we have a 998.
Copy, the 998.
Okay, suspect tried to take the car. He's in the driver's seat of unit 429. Stand by.
Copy, in the driver's seat of unit 429.
330, I'm out with him. 332, 1033, green one.
Copy, 1033, green one.
62 Sam, we have him out of the car. We have the gun secured. Have 80 roll in.
10.
We're performing first aid and CPR.
Copy, sir. CPR and first aid and confirming it's the suspect.
That's affirmed. Officers are code 4.
10-4. Officers, code 4. 332, 319, or D46 for a 925 subject.
332.
Units 925 subject in the area of Masuda, 174-150 Sardinus West. This is in reference to a male white or Hispanic, shaved head, no shirt, wearing jeans. Possible mental health issues. While he was in the area of Masuda, he tried to open a vehicle door occupied by one female. The female was able to leave without incident and is no longer in the area, and the male was last seen walking towards the 7-Eleven from Masuda. The RP is a witness to all of this only. She was not the one in the vehicle.
332 station.
19,000.
330.
332.
I'll be out with him across from Arco South.
Copy, out with him, Brookhurst South at Brookhurst and Slater.
Give me a pause, Big Ron.
Get it.
All right, jurors, what you listen to, and it's a string of 911 calls and then dispatch out to the officers, telling each officer what's going on. So you've listened to what the officers knew, and even takes you through some of the incident that you're hearing the radio traffic on. So keep that in mind when you're watching the video in context, that the video is going to start at the same chronological time that the audio or the 911 calls and dispatch in particular. The dispatch will line up. So you're seeing some of the radio calls that you heard are going to be the officer here. You're going to hear him on his side call that same radio call out. So don't think that it's happening twice. It's only happening once. Okay, let's go back to the video. Thank you, Big Ron.
Not in trouble or anything, man. I just need to talk to you.
Can you take me to Jonathan's?
Okay, we'll figure that out. Just take a seat for me. You're good. What's wrong? You got no shirt on.
Huh?
Take a seat.
I know.
Huh?
Huh?
Take a seat.
I don't have to.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
In Jesus' name I pray forever. Amen. In Jesus' name I pray forever. Amen.
We're going towards El Corazon. All right. Just 148 at this time.
Man, Jason, he'd be better off just walking. That's not even a run. He's not even fooling us.
He's in the parking lot across from the PD.
Good, great form.
Cheese and rice.
Yeah, I saw those arms waving.
It's like the guy that crosses in front of you and just like moves his arms faster but doesn't move any faster. Act like he's speeding up out of courtesy, but he's not really going any faster. That's the way this guy was. He's moving a lot, but he wasn't going very fast.
Yeah, I was laughing at his shadow with his running style.
Me too. Arms were just swimming.
Hey, he tries to run again. Just let him go.
Man, he might have said let him go because he didn't have to turn this evidence in. He cleared it with no report. The guy gets away.
She's in a fight. Go 3. She's got her weapon. Put it down, dude. Put it down. Put it down. Hey, put it down. $998. $998. Start 80. Start 80. Hey, put the gun down.
Now, this is a second responding officer to that same initial call of a guy not acting right, maybe a mental issue, and was accosting, trying to open passenger doors or doors on passerbys. So keep that in mind. That the radio call, I'm saying this looks like it's chronological, but some of this is happening at the same time. The guy is running to where this woman's location is. You know how long it took him to get there.
Saved in Jesus' name! You're saved in Jesus' name forever! You're saved in Jesus' name forever!
my God! Yes, I got it! Yes, I got it! Forever. Please don't shoot me! Please don't shoot me! Hey, put it down!
Okay, jurors, that actually it doesn't in the presentation phase. I want to make sure that you understand, because I think it's confusing the way this agency put this information out. And I looked at trying to cut it and put it together, but I don't know that I would have got it just right. I just left it the way it was. But let me explain. It's chronological. Let's go with the video. The first officer to make contact was the male officer that ran across the parking lot. He made contact with him. Hey, where can I take you? It's okay, brother. Have a seat. The guy takes off. And he begins foot chase, which he loses by some distance. The suspect had run through the parking lot, like in a shopping center. We've all been there, where it has entrances on different streets. He cuts across the parking lot, where he makes contact with the second responding officer, which was the female. Approaches the car door, and the fight, it pretty much ensues from the time she opens the door, gets out. He's able to take her firearm from her, points it at her. She's obviously in fear of her life. The other officer, while this is happening, that's the long run down through the parking lot we saw with the responding officer. So there was two officers involved. Male officer made contact first, pursued and lost. The suspect contact was made by the second officer, and that's where the gun was removed. The running officer, the initial responding officer, makes his way to that second location where the suspect has now pointed the gun at him, gets into the police vehicle, and is trying to drive away or operate the vehicle. And that's when the officer ended up using deadly force. Suspect dies of his wounds. Now that ends the presentation phase. We're in the examination phase. And this, jurors, is where you can ask questions of the expert witness. You can ask questions of me. I'm here to keep things in context of law. Jason can give you anything when it comes to law enforcement as far as that. And we can also go back and watch the video. If there's any portions of the video that you want to go back and see, we can watch it 100 times. Whatever you need to do to get to answer whatever questions that's in your mind. But now's the time where you, as the grand jury, get to ask the questions. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Carmen.
Thanks, Joe. Excuse me. Wow. So, anybody, I got a few questions. So just to them. So one of them, did the officers follow proper procedure during the initial approach and attempted detainment, right? When they first approached the suspect?
I'm going to give you a point of law on that. I'm not going to let Jason give that kind of answer, because we're here to determine criminal. There may be some policy violations, but that's not for this panel to decide.
Got you. Okay.
We're looking for criminal acts, whether the use of force. What we've got, ladies and gentlemen, we have a homicide. Homicide means that one human caused the death of another. What you are here to determine is to whether that was justifiable homicide. Did the officer have good reason to use deadly force in this? And the reason is pretty clear, that he was in fear of imminent death or injury or serious bodily injury for himself, or he was in imminent fear of serious bodily injury and or death of another third person. So those are the criteria that we're going to ask you to make a decision on. So if we want to look at video, I'll show you video, but that's what you're trying to get in your mind. Would a reasonable person have used deadly force in this situation because a credible fear existed for someone's death or someone's serious bodily injury?
Yes, I mean, I think that the officer, I feel that I don't have any questions. I watched it. I feel like,
Okay, but hang on. I'm not going to let you go to the deliberation phase yet. That's when you start talking about what you feel like. Right now, we just want to talk about what we see on the evidence. Does any other member of the jury have a question or a part of this video that they want to see again, or a question for Jason?
I actually want to see something. I want to see the part of the second officer. I want to see that part over again.
The entire segment?
No, just the part when he runs into the next
The contact
officer.
with the second officer. The entire segment. What I'm asking, the entire segment of the second officer, that whole bit from the car door on. Okay.
Yeah, up until when she finally gets away and she ducks behind the van.
Let's make that full screen.
Saved in Jesus' name! They're saved in Jesus' name forever! They're saved in Jesus' name forever!
Yes, I got it! Yes, I got it! Yes, I got it!
Forever!
Please don't shoot me! Please don't shoot me!
Hey, put it down!
That's where you wanted to see KG?
Yes, that's it. Yep.
Does that satisfy? Would you like to see it again?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Anybody else a portion of the video they want to see? Any questions for Jason? Jason can answer questions on the equipment used. He can go into some procedure stuff, but we can't talk about whether there was a policy violation. And Jason wouldn't know what that department's policies are anyway to be able to answer that question.
I'm clear.
Okay. Let's talk about the instructions for deliberations. Let's pull up. There we go. What you have is a proposed bill of indictment, and you got 3 questions to answer. And Carmen, this is your charge, and it doesn't have to be a unanimous vote. 3 out of 5 gets it. The first question you have to answer: did the officers have legal standing or believe in good faith that they had a legal standing to make contact with the citizen involved? 2, with the information available at the time, the force used were the actions of the officers reasonable? But you can only use the information they have at that time. You cannot use something they may have found out 30 seconds after, or 1 second after the trigger was pulled, because that's not the information that the officer used to make a determination, or the credible fear was not built on that. Once the bullet is shot, then you can't use that in your deliberations. 3, was it reasonable that the officers believed force was necessary and lawful? In order for you to get a no bill on this, the answer has to be yes on all 3. If there's an answer of no or a vote of no on any 1-3 of these questions, then you must return a verdict of true bill or indict. You're going to make this proposed bill of indictment true. Do you understand? Got that, Carmen? Jury members?
I do.
Okay, we don't have any questions. Big Ron, let's start the clock. You have 10 minutes to deliver a verdict. And the floor is yours, guys. We're listening, but the conversation is yours. If there's any questions, just shoot them out. We're all watching. Go ahead.
So does anybody have any questions?
Well, I have a comment. I believe that the officer had legal standing in good faith to make contact with the citizen involved, because there were reports that this person, the subject, was behaving in a threatening manner. He attempted to enter somebody's car. He was behaving dangerously to the public. So I say that reports were made, they were confirmed, and they had legal right to pursue the case.
Okay. Anyone else? I look at it and think, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Carmen.
I look at it and think, well, I ask myself the questions like, was the officer acting in her official capacity when she approached the suspect? Did the officer have reasonable suspicion or probable cause to detain or question the suspect? So that, they kind of go back and forth. I know it's all over the place. And was the attempt to detain the suspect lawful? Which we have to know the Texas law. I feel like, did the suspect pose an immediate threat when he took the officer's firearm? Yes. Were commands clearly given for him to drop the weapon before shots were fired? Yes. Did the officer attempt any de-escalation before resorting to deadly force? Yes.
I agree. Yes. And I think that the female officer is I think she was derelict of duty, if that's the definition, right?
Yeah, yep. I think that the officer, I'm focusing on the officer that took the shot, and as they're walking up, what they see, and so at that moment,
Absolutely.
yep, did they see her life and their life in immediate threat? Absolutely. So, and did they properly try to de-escalate the situation, and were they clear with their verbiage to the suspect? Yes. And he, the suspect did not, abide. He didn't drop the weapon, and they asked multiple times, and so it left him no choice but to defend himself, his life, his life as the officer and the other officer's life, and the public, right? So, people could have been walking by.
I agree with you, Carmen.
So I think the officers had legal standing to initiate the contact to begin with. As I interpret that first question here, is did they have the legal right to initiate contact? Yes, they had the legal right to initiate contact, and then the behavior of the subject, it gave leeway to them pursuing him to the end. And so I think the answer to my answer is yes, there was legal standing for them to intervene to start with, and then to continue their investigation and job.
I have to agree. Okay. And who else?
I think KG.
KG? Thank you. Trying to look at the name. Okay, I got you, KG. Throw it down there for me if you don't mind, and then we'll go on to the next person. Who's next? Let me see.
Oh, be Wayne up there.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. You seem to be leaving out the part where he's going around saving people forever and ever. No. I think when it comes to was she in her role? Yes, she had every right to respond, given that call, if she was acting in her role. And I think she had every right not only to respond. I think that she probably could have responded a lot sooner. I don't think that she should have given up her weapon.
Are we allowed to arrest her or indict her?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, we can bill her.
Well, that is a concern.
I don't want to indict him. I want to indict her.
We're only looking at use of force. Hold up, folks. The matter at hand is the use of force, not the policies or whether they think the officer was a good officer or not. We're looking at whether the officers are responsible for the actor's death.
And the officer that actually took the shot to the suspect is not the officer that the gun was taken from. So
correct.
That is correct.
Although, Joe, you could argue that if she had not given up her weapon, it wouldn't have presented a deadly force. She gave up her weapon.
I don't know that she gave up the weapon. I feel like that it was a tug of war, and I think that a man can overpower. I'm just in general, can a male overpower a woman? Absolutely, especially when a woman is sitting down and trying to come out of a vehicle, and he runs up on her, surprises her, and that's when it took place. Now she pulled the weapon. Could she have? I don't know. I'm not getting into the procedures, but she didn't. So he grabs the weapon. They do a fumble, the tug of war. He gets it, and and then the officer that comes up, he took the proper measurements to protect himself, his partner, and the community.
I agree. I think it's.
I agree. I say no bill on that.
I tell you what, Carmen, why don't you poll the jury and ask question number 1, get 3 votes for a yes or no. Question number 2, 3 votes for a yes or no. And question number 3, and then you probably have a verdict. We can move on to the next case. A little bit early. You guys did good.
KG is saying that she cannot respond. Let's see if I can get that figured out.
Well, she's got some. There's times she's not going to be able to talk. She can respond there, and you can tell us what her vote is.
Gotcha. All right. You want to pull him?
No, Bill.
Ready?
Okay, I vote yes. My answer is yes on question number 1.
Okay, I was going to read that out. Yeah, okay. Did officers have legal standing or believe in good faith they had legal standing to make contact with citizens involved?
Victoria.
So I got one juror that says 1 yes.
Yes, for me.
Thank you.
Are you guys having audio issues? Because you're really quiet. Do you got to say whether you got tell her what your vote is?
So
mine is definitely no bill.
Yeah, for me, it's no bill. You posed a risk. The officer took the correct action to neutralize that.
Now,
risk.
deliberation's over. Just give a yes or no. Do a yes or no on question 1, 2, and 3. That's what she's asking.
Yes on all 3.
Yes on all 3.
KG's yes on all 3 as well.
That's 3 votes for yes on all 3. Boy, y'all make an easy verdict difficult.
I know.
Go. So what we have there is a no bill. The officers continue on with their lives. No criminal charges filed. Okay. Our second case, that one was a warm-up. That was easy. We're going to go back in time, and I don't normally do this. I normally pull videos, get FOIA releases that are recent, things that we haven't seen before. So, but this is different. We're going to go back to January 6th, 2021. We're going to look at the Ashley Babbitt shooting that happened in the Capitol building by Capitol Police, I believe. Metro Police. Well, no, this was a Capitol Police officer. But we're gonna see the video. We've even have a statement from him. No other statements have been released, but he did a CBS interview and talked about it. Now, remember the legal standard. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Okay, I guess that was a misdial. Remember what the legal standard is, and I'm going to caution Carmen and you guys. The only questions we're asking you are those 3. You can't say there is no law out there that requires police officers to de-escalate. These are things that are you hear on the media, you hear on television. Now, do officers try to de-escalate? Absolutely, but there is no requirement by law. In other words, you can't put an officer in jail because they didn't de-escalate. The only thing you're looking at when deadly force is used, did the actor, in this case are police officers, did the actor have a reasonable fear for their life or the life of a third person or serious bodily injury of a third person? That's when deadly force can be used. We're not looking at beyond any part of that. And I say that because there's so much that went around this January 6th, but we're not looking at that. We're only looking at the actions of the officer because that's the only person. If there's something wrong here, in this case, his name was Bird. Officer Bird would be the only one that would go to jail. Not his department, not the ideology around it, not anything else. Only the actor is going to go to jail, and that's what you guys are here to decide. And I'll say this about grand juries. We're one of the few I think we're the only country that have a grand jury system like we do, but it's a filter to keep the government's boot off of our neck. If the government doesn't have a decent case and can't at least reach probable cause, then they have to leave us alone. But you do have probable cause, then you put them into the system, and we all know what the system can be. It can the punishment could be the process in of itself. But this is what a grand jury is. You're a net, you're a filter to make sure that righteous cases go to trial and cases that don't meet that standard go away. So keep that in mind when you go to this, because I think there's going to be a lot of emotions in it. But I tell you what, Big Ron, let's go to case 2. I've been waiting for this all week.
Just shot. She might be dying right now.
Were you afraid that day?
I was very afraid.
Are you afraid now? Going
I
forward?
am. I am afraid because I know there's people that disagree with my actions on January the 6th. But I hope they understand I did my job. And there was imminent threat and danger to the members of Congress. Yells for help and, officer down and screaming as they're being assaulted.
This video from inside the House chamber captures Byrd instructing members of Congress to don gas masks.
We had a disbursement of tear gas in the rotunda.
Then, instructions to prepare for the worst.
I'd ask them to remove their pins, to remove their jackets, to look like staff as much as possible. And to seek shelter by staying down below their chairs. I didn't even realize I had been yelling and screaming as loud as I was. Please stop, get back, stop.
We see your arm out there for a considerable amount of time. Were you wavering?
I was, again, taking a tactical stance. You're ultimately hoping that your commands will be complied with. And unfortunately, they were not.
What did you think this individual was doing at that moment?
She was posing a threat to the United States House of Representatives.
Okay, folks, that's your exam or presentation phase. We're going to go right into the examination phase on this. Any questions for Jason? Or anything in the video that you'd like to see, Carmen, let me know. We're here for your questions.
Joe, I would like to see that second angle again.
Okay, let's do that now. There's a lot going on in the video. Is everybody pretty clear what's happening in that video?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Let's hear it.
Is Congress right there where he's coming out of? Is it right in there in that door?
Yes, this is what's
door?
called the Speaker's Lobby. And this where the House members of the House were evacuated to during January 6th. If we'll go back, in fact, let's look at that. You'll go back to
Correct,
the beginning of the video here. Those are members of Congress. They're coming out of the chamber now after Byrd had just directed them where to go. So they're in this what's called the Speaker's Lobby. Law enforcement, if you'll watch this video, look at the chairs and the furniture that's stacked there, and you've got officers on the outside. This is the point where they did not want them to get the protesters to get to. This was a hard line in protection of Congress.
Got it. Thank you.
So also, I think I have a question with the about the officer and maybe.
Do you want to hear what we're calling testimony? Do you want to hear that again?
Well, actually, I didn't hear him in the video, right? So did he ever did he ever say back down? Did he ever let them know gun? Do you have to let them know that I pulled the gun? He's pointing it back down. Get down. Don't enter. Was there any communication between the officer and the intruder?
No, but I believe that you can, an average reasonable person, again, I believe a reasonable person had come to that doorway would have realized that their presence wasn't welcome on the other side.
Correct. I agree.
But where did the police officers that were there in the beginning go? Were they told to leave?
No. They were being overwhelmed. They're still there. They had just moved down the stairs. There were at the same time there were other officers coming up the stairs to get those 2 or 3 officers that were stuck there out of the way because they weren't in a good spot. That was a bad spot for police to be.
Yep. Well, I mean, it was a dangerous spot for the police to be. Very dangerous spot. I mean, 1 or 2 officers with that crowd is a dangerous spot, and they're showing and they're showing violence, right? They're showing violence when they're beating on the glass, trying to break into the glass.
Let's don't deliberate until we're on the clock. So
okay, sorry.
Just ask questions. I get it. Yeah, I know you guys want to, and we can get there. I just want to make sure we get through all the questions first, so you guys can have a good deliberation.
I think my question to our witness is I'm trying to word this right. Give me just a moment. Can I put it like hypothetical? In a situation like this, I can't. That ain't even a correct question because he answered that in the interview. So maybe I just need to watch the interview again.
Hey, I got a question for our expert witness, Jason. Given that this is in the aftermath of all that happened in Minnesota, how does this compare, the police response, how does this compare to the storming of the police precinct in Minneapolis and their response there?
I might have to ask how that's valid to this occurrence. We're looking at the actions of 1 police officer here. We're not looking at the actions of the entire agency or how the response was. We're looking at this 1 instance on the use of deadly force.
May I please ask you to cut back to Ashley?
I mean, I don't mind the question if you can narrow it down or show some relevance there. I don't see the relevance.
I guess I would say if tens of thousands of police officers in similar situations did not respond this way when faced with similar force, what made this different in his opinion, given that all the congressmen, senators were down the hallway and out of the way? And actually, Joe, would you mind playing that last?
Other officers didn't do it, so why did this officer do it? Is that the question? Good, Jason, Jason, if you can see what you can do with that.
So you have to look at, was the guy who pulled the trigger, was he justified to pull that trigger in this moment? And what goes behind pulling that trigger? It's fear of great bodily harm or imminent death. So what threat did this person pose to the person that actually, pulled the trigger to commit murder? And that's your job. Was he justified to pull that trigger? Was that a big enough threat to say that if she gets through here, is my life in danger?
Perfect.
Hey,
Joe, would you mind playing that last?
Are we all answering this question, or is this
No,
that was just
question to Jason. Hold up, folks. Third party applies. It's imminent fear for yourself or third party. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, and Jason answered that perfectly. Joe, would you mind playing that last 7 to 10 seconds of the interview? I think at the very end of the video.
Let's watch the whole interview. It's not very long.
Were you afraid that day?
I was very afraid.
Are you afraid now? Going forward?
I am afraid because I know there's people that disagree with my actions on January the 6th. But I hope they understand I did my job. And there was imminent threats and danger to the members of Congress. Yells for help and, officer down and screaming as they're being assaulted.
This video from inside the House chamber captures Byrd instructing members of Congress to don gas masks.
We had a disbursement of tear gas in the rotunda.
Then, instructions to prepare for the worst.
I'd ask them to remove their pins, to remove their jackets, to look like staff as much as possible, and to seek shelter by staying down below their chairs. I didn't even realize I had been yelling and screaming as loud as I was. Please stop, get back, stop.
We see your arm out there for a considerable amount of time. Yes. Were you wavering?
I was, again, taking a tactical stance. You're ultimately hoping that your commands will be complied with, and unfortunately they were not.
What did you think this individual was doing at that moment?
She was posing a threat to the United States House of Representatives.
Answer your question there, B. Wayne. Anybody else want to hear more about that?
I don't have any more questions.
No, I don't have any questions.
Let's go.
I was hoping to go back to where she was when he shot.
Yeah, you don't have to hope. You just got to ask. Well, you want to go where? To where the shot happened?
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to go back to the freeze frame of where she was when he shot.
If you'll look there, you can see her backpack with the red and white stripes. It's up in the air. Follow that from the red and white stripes. Follow that over to the left side of the circle. That's her brown hair, and that's her face. She's climbing up and going through the broken window that we watched the guys break out with the helmets just a few seconds prior.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, we don't have any more questions. I'm going to turn it over to Carmen, but let's put up our jury instructions because they don't change here either. It's the same, even that it happened in the Capitol on a very infamous day. But I don't want the grand jury. I want the deliberation instructions, please. There we go. Your proposed bill of indictment is the same. Did the officer, in this case, officer, have a legal standing or believe in good faith they had legal standing to make contact with the citizens involved? 2, with the information available at the time force was used, were actions of the officers reasonable? Was it reasonable that the officers believed force was necessary and lawful? It's got to be yes on all 3 of those for a no bill. 1 no sends us to a true bill and indictment. If there are no other questions, let's start the clock.
Okay.
Carmen, I'm going to say yes on 1, no on 2, no on 3.
Okay. And who's, oh. Who was that speaking? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, that was B.
I'm gonna just say juror 1. Yes. Okay. And
well, I caution. Let's don't take a vote at the top of it. Let's go to the deliberations. You take a straw vote, but let's see where everybody else is standing. You may have somebody that has a different opinion.
yep. So I was gonna ask if anyone had. That's what I was gonna ask before we go into voting. Is there any discussions that we need, like amongst ourselves, concerns on either side?
Like less lethal?
Yeah.
I mean, he could have punched her, right?
I'm going to caution you again. If you were in a jury trial, then you could consider maybe something like that. But in here, you're looking at probable cause. It's just probable cause. And would a reasonable person in his shoes have a reasonable fear for imminent death to himself or a third person?
So right. So I'm looking at this like we're not a jury, right? Sitting in the courtroom, we're the grand jury that's going to pass down an indictment to get him to actually, if we pass down an indictment to get him into that phase. So, is there enough evidence that shows that the officer was in the wrong? Does anyone feel that they're?
I believe the officer was in the wrong.
Why is that?
I believe he could have used lesser force. I do understand that Congress was in jeopardy if that door opened, but she was behind the door. I don't think she posed a threat to his life or the life of Congress in that moment. I think that
she was jumping through the window at that time.
No. Do we know that if she was armed?
I don't think so. Nobody said that.
We don't hear me. Yeah, we don't know that. He didn't either at that moment. I think later they may have found a pocket knife in her backpack, but don't quote me on that. But no, he did not know that she was armed.
So at the moment when she's climbing through the window, which she's obviously told not to, or asked not to, because the doors are locked, windows are busted, and there's chairs that are pushing this, securing the doors. So instead, she goes to climb through the window. That officer had no idea whether she was armed or not. So
that's a good point. My question to him would be, if you were going to throw tear gas after you shot her, why didn't you throw tear gas before? But
yeah,
I hear what you're saying.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Pardon me. Could you put the 3 questions that we're considering back up there, please?
Can I just say this? Can I just say something real quick?
Go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to say no on all 3.
Can I ask why? I mean, because I'm wanting to know. Got curious, right?
The reason why I'm saying no on all 3 is because, okay, so granted, she might have been trying to go through the window. However, to see, I mean, don't get me wrong, I can understand that his side a little bit, but when I'm looking at the whole thing, it's just telling me that because it's almost like he singled her out for that shot. And if you could have shot her, then you could have very well tased her. You know what I mean? Because then what's the difference between her threat versus the entire group as the threat? Really, you know what I mean? So with that said, to say that you felt you were in fear of your life, I just don't believe that. And then the way, if you play the video back, and if you look at the way he took the shot, it wasn't even, did he one hand that? Like, I don't even know. Like, I don't believe that he really was. I don't believe that he really felt that he was in danger. And
let me ask you this.
From what I'm,
why
go
would
ahead.
it matter if you did it with one hand?
No. That was a sidebar, just to be said. Just that was a sidebar thing.
I'm afraid now because he's running away.
No, I'm sidebarring that as something silly to mention. But what I'm saying is that I really do.
I don't think you guys are approaching these questions honestly. You're going like, well, he could have used something else. That's not even the question.
I'm going to approach it honestly, and this is, I'm going to say this out, this is what I would be saying in a to anyone if I was on the grand jury. I would say this: it's a very uncomfortable spot to be in, and it's a very emotional spot to be in. But I have to take all that and put it outside, and I have to look at the evidence and look at that's given to us. And what I see is, I see a group of people with an officer standing at a door, and obviously it's locked, and there's barricades with chairs, and they're still trying to bang the windows out, bust them out. That officer removes himself because there's multiple people, right? There's a crowd. So then once that happens, it's not about what the officer is doing inside the Congress and what he's telling them, because I don't have no clue, right? But I have to look at that and say, well, he ran in there. He wants them to get down, take off pins, make yourself look like staff. So at that point, he means he's serious. He feels that their life's threatened, and he's instructing them what to do to be safe. He runs back out into the hallway. As he does that, he's standing there, and he says in his interview that he was gesturing and telling her, communicating with everyone there, yelling, hollering, and she enters the window. And when she does, at that point, did he feel that his life or anyone in Congress's life was at threat? At that point, did he know? He don't know if she has a gun. He don't know if she has any weapon. All he sees is someone breaching the doorway through a window that was busted out. I mean, if someone was coming in my house through the window that was busted out, I would shoot them because my life would be in danger, because I wouldn't know what their intent was.
I'd like
I
to.
think those are two different situations.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sorry,
I'd like
Victoria.
to comment, if I might.
Yes.
I believe the officer had the right to make contact with the citizens because it was a confrontation on government property. I just want to contribute a perspective. The interview that was a media interview is not evidence. It wasn't under oath, and it's not actually evidence.
No,
It's
hang on.
PR.
It isn't, but this is also a mock grand jury. That's
Right.
so
It's PR for persuasion, and I just discounted that part. Although he did say he didn't realize he was yelling and screaming, and I think that indicates that he, by his own admission, he really wasn't in full control of his actions. I also, whether he felt he was an immediate potential danger to himself or to Congress, the issue of were there other options other than firearms to subdue them is the big red flag for me. And as somebody said earlier, I think absolutely there were alternatives, and I believe they should have been used. And I also agree with the juror who stated how clearly it was a direct headshot. It was a shot taken that was held. So I consider that a single intervention in a group, and it did nothing to control the group. So I do not believe the officer. I vote therefore yes on 1, no on 2, and no on 3.
So can I ask a question? Do we know the distance between the officer and the intruder?
Other than visual, I don't know.
Know that it matters, but say less than
Well,
10
I was
feet.
just saying, Joe, think about if it was, I'm looking at it like the distance, meaning could there been another way of him proceeding rather than using a gun? Would it be tasing? Would it be, gas, etc.?
It could have been a number of things. It could have been a number of things. Federal law enforcement have a wide array, including active denial system from Raytheon. They have a number of non-lethal weapons.
At the time. It doesn't matter what the government has available. We're not charging the government. What did he have available to him at the time?
Yeah, well, he had other things, and I'd like to hear it from other people as well.
Yeah.
Verdict's
okay.
coming up, guys.
Yep. Anyone else? Oh, wow.
Need a vote.
Okay. I'm going to go to the top. Juror 1 on all three. 1, yes or no? Let's see here.
I'm actually going to have to no-bill this one. The reason I asked that one question to Jason and had him replay that, I did find it interesting that he said that he did not feel in danger. And
It's a vote. Deliberations are over. Give her the vote, not an explanation.
So 1, 2, and 3, you're saying no?
No bill on them. No.
Okay, and then I know juror 2, you said 1 yes and 2 and 3 no, right?
Are you speaking to Victoria?
Yeah.
My answer is yes, no, no.
That's what I thought. Yes, no, no.
Thank you.
Mine was the same, Carmen. B.
Okay. And who's that? Is she on mute or can she?
I'm here.
She stands on her decision. She says
and what's
no.
your decision?
It's no.
Okay. Okay.
That sounds like 3 no's. That is a
That's
true
3
bill.
no's.
Is that right?
Yes, it is.
So you're going to indict the officer for the shoot on January 6th. True bill. All right.
Yep. I'm standing on it.
I feel very confident.
We'll talk about it in the after party. I've got some opinions on. Let's go to case 3.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Jerry Lohr, Commander of the Division of Criminal Investigation. On Sunday, March 30th, 2025, St. Louis County Police Crimes Against Persons detectives were requested by the Overland Police Department to investigate an officer-involved shooting that occurred in unincorporated St. Louis County. At approximately 7:45 a.m., an Overland police officer made an investigative stop in a gas station parking lot in the 10,700 block of Page Avenue. The stop was the result of an alert notifying officers of a white 2015 Chevrolet Sonic wanted for aggravated battery to a police officer in Caseyville, Illinois.
RTW81. Can you run a plate for me from a bucket? Go ahead. Victor Henry 1, Paul 1 William. I'm not lying. That's good. I'm car TW81. Go ahead. Your plate Victor Henry 1, Paul 1 William is showing valid for October 2025 on a 2015 Chevy. It's registered to a negative for 99. TW81. Car TW81. The license plate I gave you looks like it's an aggravated battery to a police officer with a vehicle at a Caseyville Police Department. Confirming Victor Henry 1, Paul 1 William. Affirmative. You pull up the Regis and you scroll down to the bottom. Has the listing there. That's clear. My apologies. I had to look off someone else's computer. That's mine wasn't signing in. No, it's all good. I think the last place it hit is going to be Page at Spencer going westbound towards Ashby. We'll go canvas the area. The white Chevy Sonic with a tinted license plate cover. That's for white Chevy Sonic with tinted license plate cover near Page and Spencer. I'll show you canvas area. Card 2W12.
David 12. I'm in the area of Page and Spencer.
Miss I'll you canvas in as well. 732. Car 2W81.
81.
Just got an updated comment. Olivet PD advised they saw the vehicle 5 minutes ago, eastbound on Lackland, Morrison.
Good. I will head up to eastbound Lackland, where?
At Warson.
Are you saying Warson or Woodson?
Warson, William, Adam, Robert, Sam, Oceanor.
Okay. I'm going to go up to Lackland or Woodson. cut her off. We've got a camera, so we should get a hit on it if it comes back east.
That's fine.
David 12, Black, or
Car 2 David 12, confirm you're at Lexington, Black, Leyden, Washington.
David 12, Black, or
Car 2 David 81, you clear on 12 traffic.
Affirmative, be that Black, Florida.
Clear. 2 David 12 at Black, Leyden, Florida, 736.
2 David 81, you can put all work in service. We'll just be canvassing the area.
No, stay in service, canvassing 739.
2 David 81.
2 David 81.
I think one of our guys located at Sonic. It's going to be at the Shell gas station at Station Wharton.
That's clear. Is there a unit out at Patient Wharton with the vehicle?
12 is, I think. I'm headed over there, and I think Albert's headed over there.
That's clear. 2 David 12, are you secure?
12, I'm secure. I'm waiting for additionals.
That's clear. Secure. Waiting for a unit 745.
We're right here. We're pulling in now.
That's clear. Station held. It's 745.
Yeah, we'll pull in front of it.
2 David 81 pulling in front. It's 745.
Shots fired.
Car 2 David 1.
2 David 81, shots fired. Give me a medic up here now.
That's clear. Attention, that's clear. Attention all cars. Officer you at Page and Warson. Page and Warson at the Shell station.
11, positive, I'm on my way. We have one in custody. The suspect was shot in the arm.
That's clear. One in custody. EMS is going to be en route. Car 2 David 1.
2 David 81, shots fired.
That's clear. Attention.
Up here now.
That's clear. Attention all cars. Officer you at Page and Warson. Page and Warson at the Shell station.
11, positive, I'm on my way. In custody. The suspect was shot in the arm.
That's clear. One in custody. EMS is going to be en route.
Recording.
Let's see your hands. Don't move. Don't move. Get out of the fucking car. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Get out of the car. Get out of the car now. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. You run, you're getting bit. You run, you're getting bit. Get on the ground. Get out of the car now. Get out of the fucking car. On your stomach. Get out of the car. Do it now. There's nowhere to go. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the fucking car now.
Get on the ground. Do it now.
You run, you get bit.
Get on the ground. Do it now. Hey.
Get him. Get him. Get him. Here. Here. Go help him. Get on the ground now. Oh, shit. On the ground. Put it down. Turn over. Turn over. Turn over. On your stomach. On your stomach. On the stomach. Hands behind your back. Shots fired. Hands behind your back. You're all right. You're all right. 2 David 81, shots fired. Get a tourniquet. Yep. 2 David 81, shots fired. Give me a medic up here now.
Sir, attention all cars. Officer need a page in Warson. Page in Warson.
Take your time.
That's the Shell station.
Why you shooting? We have one in custody. The suspect's been shot in the arm.
Why you shooting? That's for one in custody. EMS.
Wait, where's the gunshot at? Oh shit. Damn.
Okay, there's your video evidence. Law enforcement sought this vehicle out for warrants, some for assault on police officers. They make contact, the driver gets out and he runs. The officer that pursues tackles him, a fight ensues, and during that fight, the officer shoots the suspect in the arm. And it was an inadvertent shot. It wasn't, we'll have to modify the deliberation form just a little bit on this one because you're not looking for homicide. Obviously, no one died, but you're looking at whether it could be reckless for some lower charges on this one. Was you're looking at was the officer's actions reckless or unwarranted for the condition is what we're going to look at. I think the state's position is that yes, it was. There was a BOLO, which was to be on the lookout for these folks. They were located. They were wanted for a litany of other charges. The response was, I think, appropriate, or the state believes appropriate. The actor ran from the vehicle and then fought with law enforcement on the ground. And with every time a cop's in a fight, there's a gun there. The cop brought it, and that's what happened in this case. But the state maintains that him having his firearm out was warranted under the conditions. But he survived his wounds. The actor did not die. Jason, do you want to add anything to this one before we turn it into the examination phase?
No, I'm going to let them hash it out, and I'll ask questions if they have any.
All right. We're now in the examination phase. Carmen and jury members, let me know if you want to see any parts of the video, if you have any questions for Jason.
Well, I do. I want to see the part. I'm not sure which camera it was. Maybe it was the camera, the officer that ran up with the one that released the dog. I just wanted to see that. And really, when he approached them on the ground, I wanted to hear more what was said.
You run, you get bit.
On the ground, do it now. Hey.
Get him, get him, get him. Here, go help him. Get on the ground now.
Oh, shit. Hey.
Get him. Here, go help him. Get on the ground now.
Oh, shit.
Can you freeze
Get on the
that?
ground now. Get on the ground now.
I'm not sure. Would you like me? We're
No, actually, that's good. Where's the cop's head and legs in that freeze frame?
I believe it's on the left hip of the suspect. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say his head's in his butt and his legs are off the curb.
It looks like his head is at the suspect's left waist, his hip, maybe his arms around his front, and he's on his knees. He's in kind of an upright position.
The officer that shot is the one running up, correct?
No, the officer that shot's one in the fight.
In the fight. Okay. All right.
Correct.
Oh. Ooh.
And dude does not have the officer's weapon or a weapon, correct?
No, suspect was unarmed, but he is actively fighting with the police officer.
Yep.
I want to know where the dog is.
Me too.
The dog was not involved in the assault. I don't know where the dog went, but the dog wasn't involved in this assault. He called him off at the shot.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm going to continue the video here.
Oh, shit.
On the ground. Put it down. Turn over.
Let's
Put
watch
what
the
down?
The witness video again.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Is that enough?
Oh shit.
Yeah. For me.
All right, do we have any questions for Jason? Hey, Victoria, you should check your avatar.
You know, I want to ask Jason, how you know, you said that this shot was not one that the cop intended to happen, correct?
I
Yes.
haven't said nothing.
Yes, he didn't take aim and shot. The weapon went off in his hand as he's fighting this officer, fighting with the suspect.
Okay.
He'd unholstered for the stop, which the state says that was completely appropriate under with the information that the officers had at the time. And when the suspect took off, he pursued him still with his firearm in his hand. And when the suspect stopped and turned to confront him, now he's in the fight, was still with a firearm in his hand. He didn't have an opportunity to go put his gun up anywhere. The fight happened right then, right there. And the state says that it wasn't reckless. We believe that it was not reckless.
Okay.
So if you're asking, sorry.
No, go ahead, Jason.
If you're asking, when you're in a tight scuffle like that, and the gap closes that fastly, there's a gun involved in the fight with two guys going at it, and the officer's main job is secure their weapon. And as you saw in the first video, if you lose your weapon, all of a sudden the advantage goes to the other one. So that's kind of my point here is there's always a gun in every fight, and you have to retain your gun. And I can't see close enough if he lost control of his gun or what happened, but that's not a good situation to be in.
excuse me, what I keep seeing is, I understand the gap closed, and I understand what you just said. But when the gap was closed and his hands were up, which in my brain said he was trying to escape, like he was trying to get out of that gap. But then obviously whatever else happened. I'm going to say, I don't know, are we supposed to say yet?
No, we're still in the examination phase. We're just asking questions now.
Because I'm trying to figure out really what I'm trying to figure out here, and it's hard to see, like you said. The gap closed quickly, and the last thing you want to do is the officer wants to allow the suspect to get their gun, like we just seen. So I'm with him trying to secure his gun. I can't see.
Absolutely.
I can't see.
There's just something weird about it, right?
Yep. There's something off, and I can't see. If I could see one angle, right? Like if I could see the beginning of that confrontation a little bit more, then I think I might have a little different outlook.
But remember what Jason says, you don't want to lose your weapon, correct?
Correct.
So we don't want an officer losing his weapon to somebody that's physically tumbling around with him.
Correct. And then because then it puts think about it, we're at a Shell gas station. There's other people, bystanders there, because there's a witness video. And so if he loses the weapon, then it can be turned on the officer and then everyone else in the surrounding area.
Let me help you out. Look at it this way.
Like that lady.
See on the screen now, this is the officer that confronts the driver who's going to run. Do you feel like it's okay that he's got his firearm out now? I say yes.
Yes, I do.
I think it warrants his firearms out. Okay. So now we're going to advance and let it go. Get out of the car, 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 get out of the car. Still weapons out, still not a problem. Actually, I think I've got the wrong officer. This is the K9 guy. Let me see if I can. Do we have the one?
Yeah, I'm like, Victoria, where'd the canine go?
Lord, with the K9.
He said he's out.
There's no dog got bitten.
His trainer's fired.
I feel like I'm seeing the same video twice there. What am I?
There he is. Because when he pulled up, he had his gun pulled. Okay.
Now I see why Fidji's always like, can you rewind that? Can you show me that again? It's hard to make choices.
It's serious, like the seriousness of making the decision like this as a grand jury.
Okay, the second officer approaching now is the officer that's going to be getting into the fight. He's on the driver's side.
Mm-hmm.
Do we feel like it's okay that he's got his weapon out there?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I think what you do is you watch the video and try to figure out when it wasn't okay for him to have his weapon out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you got me there.
Right there. I think he should have put his weapon away at that point and tried to apprehend him. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's watch that again.
He sees there's no
This is where it goes bad.
Yeah, this is where
he doesn't get him into custody.
I feel like right there is where the officer made a mistake. I think that was where he messed up.
But you see, right there, he didn't get him in custody, and the guy was moving. He was leaving.
How much time do you think?
His hands are up.
Mm-hmm.
His hands are up in surrender, but he's walking away, and.
He should have put the gun up when he was walking away. I feel like he had a chance to put his gun back in his holster and try to get him, put his hands behind his back. Like, I think that's when he tried to get.
That's not what I'm getting at. I'm getting at that he couldn't get him into custody right at that point. When he got out of the car, he had his hands up, but he was not complying to be taken into custody.
We're deliberating, so we're going into the deliberation phase. Go ahead and bring up the clock there. Producer.
Real quick, I have a question. Just one thing. What was this guy's criminal history? He had warrants for what? I missed that. What?
Oh, great point. I forget the officers know that, right?
Armed robbery and some assault on a police officer and evading in a motor vehicle, I believe.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, hell.
It was a good bolo.
So when he was getting out of the vehicle, when the suspect stood out of the vehicle, he gets out, stands there. We see. I mean, I feel like the cop had time to possibly, I'm just throwing this out there, possibly try to put his gun in the holster to try and apprehend him. And even if, the gentleman's got his hands up and he's walking towards him, I mean, I've seen officers apprehend plenty of suspects like that.
Well, how I see it is that the officer, I don't think, should holster his gun when he's
standard back up.
What?
Don't forget, you need to use the reasonable person standard. And some of the stuff I'm hearing, I don't know that we're doing that, but sorry, Big Ron, I'm stepping on top of you. But make sure you pay attention what that definition says there when you say, I've seen other officers do something.
Okay, so
yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're right. You're right.
So what I'm seeing in the video is I see officers recognizing it's an extremely serious takedown of two people. This isn't casual. This is a criminal officer criminal encounter, rising to the occasion where their firearms are out. And the people in the car understand the cops are really serious. One guy complies right away. The other person appears to comply, but it's deceiving because the officer has his firearm out and the guy is moving away. He's whatever the command was. Surely, presuming reasonably, it was get down on the ground. But we see walking, and we see at that moment there. I think the officer needed his firearm out. It was unpredictable, and anything that guy could have done anything. The guy needed that firearm as a defense. But it seemed that the cop's guard was down, and somehow they got into a too close altercation where when it's a criminal and a cop, the cop has to defend himself and mean he's not, can't do judo. And I believe it was justified whether it was an accident or not. That's my take because of the way there was non-compliance, and then there was the cop attempted to keep him from leaving, and then he was entangled with the guy, and you can't have it fist to fist. That's not what law enforcement is about, a street fight. And that's my take on it.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm going to reference, I kind of looked back at where we were at in the case before. Like, I feel like we're at the same spot here because I feel like the officer at this time, the officer felt threatened, right? And it wasn't safe for him or them to not have their weapon and possibly not use it if needed. So I agree in this case. I mean, I agree. I think the cops pulled their weapons. They should have had them out. You have to take into effect that they have a criminal background and what the criminal background is. And so
no, you don't. That's not what the questions are. It's at that particular incident. And just
that's
what you're
I'm talking
seeing
about, that particular incident.
He doesn't, his prior criminal background isn't the issue there. We have the questions.
So it's not okay. So we don't need to know whether they have been a threat to police officers prior, or they have been aggressive prior, or I don't know.
I don't think that in this moment, I don't think that would be relevant. I think that in this moment, I mean, to the officer themselves, it probably matters, but in this moment for us, it doesn't matter. I mean, I think just based on looking at the video, I believe that the officer, well, number one, I believe that the officer did have legal standing to have his gun out. I believe also with number two, you know, with the information that we were all given, you know, I do think that at the time this was necessary. And it goes in also, it falls in with number 3. You know, I do think that the officer felt that it was reasonable, and that, you know, force was necessary. So I do believe, and that's on both officers. When you look at the video and you see him get out the car, instead of him complying, he is trying to slide. At that moment, when he's trying to walk with his hands up, but still walk past the officer, that was, you have to think of that officer at this point is in danger too. Because that man could have did anything in that point. You know what I mean? So no, he absolutely had to have that gun out the entire time. I don't think that he should not have had his gun out. There wasn't a moment there that he shouldn't have.
Okay.
And you know, they let the dog out. They intended to use less than lethal force by letting the dog out, but the shot was accidentally fired first. So they intended to have the dog, and stated, if you flee, the dog is going to bite you. So they didn't intend to shoot him. And that's, you know, absolutely just the way it turned out, because the guy tried to flee.
Well, you know, now that when I look at that and I think about it, I don't think that there was a time where the officer would have even had time to put his gun, you know, holster his gun or put it away. So even though he shouldn't have, I'm just saying there wasn't a time. So leaving his gun out, and his like, that's 100% correct. So,
and I'll tell you, if you want to apply the reasonable person standard, if a bunch of cops surrounded me and pointed their guns at me in the car, and I'm sitting in the car and they're yelling at me, am I going to flip them off and try to run away? And that's not, to me, a reasonable person to begin with as the subject matter. You know, it's in the context alone. And you know, you freeze and you listen. A reasonable person would freeze and listen immediately. So
that's a really
I don't know.
That's a really good point.
In my place, I'm just looking at it from, if I was the officer, I would have had my gun out and I would have left it out. And if we're going to have to get to a point where either my partner's going to shoot you, or if it was my partner in the other way, I mean, I would like to believe that I would have used a taser. I'm talking about if I was the partner, not the actual officer that was close to the suspect. I would like to believe that, but I'm not in that situation. I'm not law enforcement. So, you know, at this point, we're just deliberating what we already know. You know what I mean? We're just like basically running the clock up at this point.
Yeah.
So,
you know, I have a new comment, a new issue. One thing that I heard that really stands out is when, after the shot is fired, you hear the other officer yell, "Put it down." And, you know, that's a common thing. When one cop fires a gun, you hear them say, "Put it down." And the guy didn't have anything in his hand. And mostly always they say it after there's a shooting to give leeway that we thought the other person had something in their hand. And I don't like that part of it.
That's very that's very interesting. I thought I heard that too. I thought I heard him put it down, and then I heard the suspect say, "Why did you shoot me?"
Yes.
I think it's.
I mean, can we fight about that later?
Yeah, I think it's easier than we're making it.
Yes.
Well, you know, it's time to take a vote.
Yep, let's take it. All right.
Yes on all 3.
Okay.
For me.
Yeah, me too. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yes, for me and all 3.
All right. Mr. Man up here.
No bill.
Joe? No bill.
That's what we got. We've had no bill.
No bill.
Okay. Do we have time for one more video?
Please, pretty please.
I think we do.
I could do this for a while.
Let's run the last case. Case number 4.
New York City 911, do you please have uncle?
How are you? I'm on 30th Avenue and 33rd Street in Queens, Astoria.
So just so I'm clear, that was 33 Avenue and what?
No, 30th Avenue and 33rd Street in Astoria.
30 Avenue and 33rd Street.
Okay, there's a guy with a knife walking around the neighborhood.
All right, give me one moment. And 33rd Street. And he's outside, correct?
Yeah, he's on the corner. He's in black jeans.
Hold on one moment.
You gotta be kidding me.
The man, is he black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Indian?
Some kind of tan. I don't know what he is.
So
He's got
we
a face mask on.
All right. Approximate how old?
I don't know. He's in a face mask.
All right, slim, medium, handicap build.
Slim,
What's he wearing?
black jeans, brown vest. He's carrying a white bag.
And so I should have black jeans, brown vest, and white bag.
Burgundy shirt, yeah. He's in like a navy blue hat.
Navy blue hat.
He's walking around the neighborhood like looking at people. You better hurry up.
Bag. Look at me not delaying police response out. And he has a mask on?
Yep. He's walking toward 32nd Street now. I'm kind of following him.
Male is walking toward 17th. Is he waving the knife?
He's doing all kinds of crazy shit with a knife, like he's trying to hunt somebody. He's going to 31st Street now.
What's your last name? What number you calling from, Mr. That was
Yep.
assistance will be provided as soon as possible. I'm operating 2228.
Okay.
She sounds like Mrs. Wiggins.
That was horrible.
Slasher.
the knife fucking down! Put the knife down. Put the... Yo. 114 Adam, 114 Adam. Put the knife down! 3-1 and 3-0. 3-1 and 3-0. Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife down, sir! Sir, put the fucking knife down! Put the fucking knife down! Put the fucking knife down! Sir, put the knife down! Taser to the floor. Put the taser to the floor. Get on the ground! Get on the fucking ground! Put the knife down. Put the knife down, sir! Put the fucking knife down! Shots fired, Spencer. Shots fired. The car. Put the knife down. You're in Montana. Put the knife down. Put the knife down. Put the fucking knife down. Put the fucking knife down. Yo, shoot the taser at his back. 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 Fucking shit, man. Don't fucking move! Don't fucking move! Put the knife down! Put it down!
What are they blurring there?
What's up?
You talking
the
about
knife?
Around the neighborhood.
Was your question about the silence, or what are they doing where?
What are they blurring inside the cop car?
One more time. I couldn't understand you.
What are they
She wants to know
blurring?
what-
Maybe
I'm
one-
assuming it probably was like a cell phone, maybe. I don't know.
You talking about what they're
Could have
blurring
been a
out?
badge number.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did he have a gun?
Hold up, folks. It's his personal cell phone. They're deleting his personal text message, whatever's going on his phone.
Okay. Thank you.
Just a knife?
I just said
okay,
that.
Where'd he go? Go.
3-1 and 3-0. 3-1 and 3-0. 3-1 and 3-0.
Where Charlie? We're here.
Where is it?
No, Central, get units here now. Get units here now. Central. You gotta make up for it. Get units here now. Yo, get on the fucking ground right now. Get on the fucking ground. Yo, get on the fucking ground right now. Get on the ground. Central, get units here now. Get on the fucking ground right now. Get on the fucking ground. Put the fucking knife down. Shots fired, Central, shots fired, shots fired. 3-0 3-1, shots fired. Don't fucking move. Don't.
Jason, while we're in silence, do you want to explain why there's silence on a video, these body-worn cameras?
Most of the body worns are connected to the car camera, so if the car camera's on, the body camera will be silent. And once the car goes into park and they get out, the body cameras will actually start picking up audio. They're connected to each other.
Ours were programmed that if we engaged them, they would go back a minute and a half. And you wouldn't have audio during that minute and a half, but it would have a minute and a half of video prior to you. Like if you turned your lights and sirens on, your video would actually start a minute and a half before you hit the light switch, or the same if you engaged your body camera.
The squad cam doesn't.
He had a knife?
Did
he
around the neighborhood,
screaming at people? Okay. Did he have a gun?
A knife.
Just a knife? Okay, where'd he go?
He's on the corner.
Go.
3-1 and 3-0. 3-1 and 3-0. 3-1 and 3-0.
Where Charlie? Where are they? You see them? Right now! Get on the fucking ground! Yo, get on the fucking ground right now! Get on the ground! Get out! Get on the fucking ground right now! Get on the fucking ground! Put the knife down, sir! Put the fucking knife down! Shots fired! Don't fucking move! We'll put the knife down! Put the fucking...
Suspect name was Wong. If that makes a difference, I thought it was interesting. His name was Wong. That was the Wong day.
Wrong.
He was wrong.
Now see.
Is just for the information on this one. I think that Jason, do you want to explain the 21-foot rule? I think that's some information that the jury should have.
Sure. So, any edged weapon or weapon that can be used as a deadly weapon outside of a gun within 21 feet of your person, it's been proven multiple scenarios that if somebody is holding a knife and they charge you within that 21-foot rule, they can stab you before you can actually react to it in time. So the 21-foot rule is basically you are justified to use deadly force if somebody has a knife or a weapon within that distance, because you can't react fast enough to respond to protect yourself.
That's a good explanation. Any questions on that? The 21-foot rule, I think, is something that you have to keep in mind on this particular case. Does everybody understand?
For me, no, I understand it. I mean, just my common sense alone would have just went ahead and applied that anyway, whether I knew the rule or not. I mean, I have a thing with knives, and I do not play with those things. And yeah. And we don't know the skills of what anybody can have. He could have threw it. It's a threat regardless. So
we need the deliberation block deliberate. Let's go back. Let's go ahead and pull that up, and let's finish off this last case. We have just a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm turning it to you, Carmen. Is our clock? Where's our clock at? There we go. Oh, let's back that up. Hang on. Actually, I'm gonna cut you in half. We're gonna cut you to 5 minutes.
That's cool. That's cool. I mean, I think this one. Okay, go ahead. All right. So I'm going to ask any of the jurors have any questions or.
No, I don't have questions. I just wanted to say that the first squad car that pulled up, that got out, they were within 21 feet, and they should have took their shot where they could have. I'm a all the way down. Yes.
Now, I'm of the opinion that this was a non-lethal case, that the guy was definitely mentally ill, homeless. He had a knife, but he was not in a sound mind. And I think they knew in advance there was no gun, but there was a knife, and they should have been prepared for non-lethal. Somebody had a taser out, and that guy was behind 3 cops with the guns, and I think it should have been a taser case from the beginning, and I think they were wrong to use lethal force. So I think that
they actually there was more than one officer that was tasing him, and it was just wasn't working. I don't know.
Well,
I heard one of the officers was yelling, get behind him. I think getting behind him when they had the taser out was, I guess to direct more accuracy for that. I don't know if the taser actually touched him or not. I don't know if he was too far, if the officers were too far, but they did try that before they shot at him.
They didn't succeed in tasing him to the ground.
Correct.
And I think and there were 4 cops there, and one homeless guy with the knife, and I think that was just poorly handled, and I think they had failed. Knowing what they were dealing with the knife, they failed to intervene properly. That's just my opinion at this point.
But now they didn't know that there wasn't a gun, because I heard the officer say, "Is there any gun, or is it just a knife?" when he arrived on the scene.
That was a big
Right,
knife.
and he was told just a knife, and he could see.
We've had experiences where we've had cops killed with the knives.
Yeah, but I'm saying in preparation for the intervention, it should have been non-lethal weapons first line, and they weren't even engaged properly. That's my view. I think it was not a necessary shooting. It was poor handling, and that's why it came down to a shooting.
Okay.
And the officers put themselves within that distance without using non-lethals, and they have other ones besides taser. They didn't use any of them. And there were 4 officers, and so I just find it unacceptable. I think they had the right to intervene, but there's a no on the 2 and 3 for me.
You don't think he was a danger to the public and to citizens?
Yes, I do, and I think it should have been handled differently. The question isn't whether he was a danger to the public. The question is about the use of lethal force, and in my opinion, the lethal force was not a reasonable action, not a necessary action on the part of law enforcement, which is the question that we're dealing with. He was definitely.
Well, I mean, I think we have to take.
I disagree.
Yeah, I think we have to take into here that there was non-lethal used, and it did not work.
They used it.
Exactly, and I think I'm gonna vote yes on all 3 personally. I think that 100% that those officers acted the way they were supposed to, simply because, as you called it earlier, the officers asked, does he have a weapon? Is it a gun? Is it, what kind of weapon does he have? They established, he has a knife. They approached the scene. They told him, obviously something was wrong with him, but they did say several times, to drop his weapon. Each one of them said that. Drop his weapon. He's not dropping his weapon. They tried, several of them tried, a couple of them tried to tase him. It didn't work. So they went with the next thing.
And he lunged at one of the officers.
Yeah, and that's when he got shot.
Yes.
Right.
So I think we could go to a vote.
No bill.
Well, it's a majority decision anyway, so
Yeah.
the majority went the
No
other
bill.
way.
Go with no bill.
Yep.
No bill.
It's a no,
No
bill,
bill.
Joe.
But I understand your point. I do get it. And, you know, I guess we'll talk about that after.
Okay, there's our final case for the night. No bill. Folks on X, if you're not on X, join X and join us in our after party. We kick off in about 20 minutes. If you want a direct invite, if you're not following me or if you're not in our community to keep up with this type of stuff, shoot me a direct DM or at me on a text and I'll get you a direct invite to the after party. We'll kick it off in about 20, 25 minutes. We have a few things to discuss. I want to thank all of our jury members. You guys are volunteers. You put up with a lot of technical issues to get in here and putting up with some of our production issues. I want to thank you very much for the time that you've dedicated to do this show tonight. We couldn't do it without you and your fresh eyes and deliberations. It's awesome to watch. I want to thank Jason, our expert witness. He's almost our in-house expert witness now, but you couldn't ask for a better one. Of course, Big Ron, Fidji, and Bruce, my co-host for all the things that we do. I couldn't do it without it. Thanks, folks. Join us in the after party. And I appreciate everyone's comments and everything that in the chat. It's been a great night.
It has.
Do you ever get any money from Costello?
No.
And did you ever get any money from Meyer Lansky?
I never got money from any of those fellas.
None of those
None
fellas?
of those fellas. None of these that I've been reading about, or none that I knew. They never gave me anything.
None of the Shetties?
No.
You
I
think-
don't even speak to the. I mean, I met that Charlie once or twice. I don't even talk to him.
You don't like him?
I was conscious of the fact that he had a reputation for being an outstanding bookmaker.
You ever hear him referred to as the Prime Minister of the Underworld?
That term I did not.
Also known as Dr. Corella.
I refuse to answer on the grounds of made attempt to got any business? I refuse to answer on the grounds of attempted criminal. You have any profession? I refuse to answer on the grounds of made attempt. Have any occupation? I refuse to answer on the grounds of made attempt. Are you a known racketeer?